types of oscillator. We have got the RC oscillator, the LC oscillator. So, you know, when we talk about something like an LC oscillator, there is something which we call as the tank circuit. We have got an inductor and the capacitor there. We can have a resistor and a capacitor, and we can actually make an oscillator out of it. Okay. And in the last class, we have also seen some condition based on which we can actually have signals, okay, which will be sustained. That means you actually provide a feedback. Okay, that's the basic working of oscillator. You provide a feedback, and then whatever signal you're going to get, it going to remain sustained. You're going to get the same kind of amplitude. Okay, so if we just divide this, we have the RC, the LC, and the crystal oscillator. Okay, and the crystal, all three of them will basically give you a sinusoidal signal. Okay, so you are basically going to get signals which are more or less in the form of sine waves. So all of them are actually sinusoidal oscillators. And in general, we can say they are more or less linear in nature. Okay? We do have that behavior. Okay, and if you talk about something like a crystal oscillator, okay, we have got something. The example I can take, okay, based on which it is made. You can use. We can actually use a quartz crystal. Okay, we can use a quartz crystal in crystal oscillators. So this is how they are used. Okay, so apart from this, which are actually nothing but sinusoidal oscillators, there are certain non-sinusoidal oscillators also. Okay, so these are also, there are certain oscillators which are not going to give you a sinusoidal wave, we're going to give you a triangle wave. Okay, and those kind of things. So uh, these are non-sinusoidal oscillators in general. Okay, so what we have here in non-sinusoidal oscillator is an example that I can give you probably is a relaxation oscillator. Relaxation. Okay. So in a relaxation oscillator, we actually need to build a relaxation oscillator. Okay, and it basically can be built by using the op-amp. Okay, so this can be built, okay, using op-amp or something which we call a 555 timer. We're not going to look at the 555 timer, okay, but then we're just going to look into the use of op-amp to actually design oscillators. And this is something which we are going to do in the coming class. So we are going to concentrate on this. I'd also like to tell you that oscillator is something which you might have already studied. For example, RC oscillator, LC oscillator, at least two of this, okay. And if you have taken up in your UG program the book by Verma, okay, H.C. Verma. So you have that book, okay, electronics. Okay, basically you can take that, not H.C. Verma, sorry, the book which I suggested you. This is basically nothing but Estan, okay, Estan book. It's a colored book. I think I've already given you some pages. I've shared some pages with you. Okay, so if you follow that book, you have got RC oscillator and LC oscillator. But in that book, we don't have the use of these LC and RC oscillators using op-amp. So this is something which we are going to do in this particular course. Okay, so that's the topic. So what we are going to start with is something which we call as the RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, so the topic that we are going to study for the next 2 or 3 classes is RC phase shift oscillator. And I guess all of us know this, that we talk about phase shift, that means there is a change of phase, might be 45 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, or 180 degree between the input and the output. So there is a change of phase. Okay, so if you basically have a sine wave as an input, you might have a cosine wave as an output, because both of them will be having a 180 degree phase shift. Okay, so here in this particular case, what happens is an RC circuit is used. Okay, so that's why it is called RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, before we really go into the understanding of RC phase shift oscillator in terms of op-amp, okay, use of op-amp, we're going to look into a few important points. Okay, here. So what is this RC? Where exactly it is used? It is used in the feedback circuit. So if you remember, we have studied about the basics of oscillator, or how an oscillator works, and there we actually have talked about the use of RC. So this there we have talked about the feedback circuit. So in that feedback circuit, if you're using a resistor and a capacitor, it's basically nothing but coming under the category of RC oscillator. Okay, and it will basically in general, okay, generate stable sinusoidal signal, okay, or we can say generate sine waves. I can simply write it down in this way. Generate stable sine waves. So that's another point. And it's not that you can actually use for a very high frequency application. Okay, it's most used for low frequency generation. Okay, low frequency generation, and that might be some hundreds of kilohertz. Okay, hundreds of kilohertz. Okay, and if we just try to recall that, what is that range that we are talking about? It is nothing but the range of the audio frequency. Okay, so remember this frequency means it is the range of audio frequency. So the frequency range which we can hear, okay, acoustic range which we can hear. If we want to generate a signal in that particular range, okay, we can basically use this RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, so this is how it is done. Okay? And before I go to this, maybe we can just draw that feedback circuit again, okay, and so that it can be clear. And it's not a very complicated circuit, so maybe I can just do it fast, okay. Then you basically, in this particular amplifier which we are talking about, and write it as A, it might be either a transistor, okay, which you might have already studied, or it will be an op-amp. Okay? So both of them can be used as the amplifier, okay. And we do have the feedback circuit where again we're going to use the resistor and the capacitor. Okay, so the amplifier will be an op-amp in our case. Okay, and the feedback circuit will basically have a resistor and the capacitor with it. Okay, so if I just blast, okay, basically have connections here. Okay, can basically have a signal generator at this particular point. Okay, and then we will basically have a V input here. Okay, if you remember this. And then you can actually connect this input to inverting terminal of the op-amp. Okay, and if you do that, you are basically going to get a 180-degree phase shift. Okay, and then you basically have the output value voltage output. But this output is actually taken, okay, and then it is actually allowed to go through the feedback circuit, which has basically got amplification factor beta. Okay, if you remember, this circuit will again give you a phase shift of 180 degree. And finally, what we're going to get is nothing but a zero phase shift signal. Okay, why zero phase shift signal? Because if you remember the condition, okay, and we actually have seen this, okay, warp percent criteria. Okay, we have done it in the last class, and we have to just keep this in mind. Okay, just try to remember this. In this particular case, we know that this multiplication of A into beta, the amplification given by the main circuit and the feedback circuit must be equal to 1. That was the criteria. And the second criteria was the phase shift between the input and the output should be equal to 0, right? But here, if I'm connecting it to an inverting terminal, it is giving me a phase shift of 180 degree. So the feedback circuit should also give me a phase shift of 180 degree, so that the total shift at this particular point is 0 degree or 360 degree. So 360 means 0 degree, that means there is no phase shift. Okay, so this will actually satisfy the Bergson criteria. So for that, we're actually using it. Okay, so this is the first part that I'd like to tell you. Okay, and just let's try to remember this Bergson criteria, might be a 2 marks question. Okay, and based on this, we can actually proceed. So whatever I said, I'm just going to write down in these in words. I think is important. Okay, so if we talk about this, it will basically provide, okay, provides 180 degree phase shift. Okay, phase shift. And I'm only talking about the this part. Okay, 180 degree phase shift. And what we use here is also something which I've mentioned. Okay, either transistor, okay, transistor or op-amp is used for amplification. We can use a transistor or an op-amp. So what we are going to look into is we are using an op-amp, and then we are doing the amplification. This is something which we are going to look into. Okay, and we already know that. Okay, this is what I have explained just now. For sustained oscillation, okay, the phase difference between input and output should be 0. Right? The phase difference input and output is equal to 0. This is something which is okay. So that means that the feedback circuit and the feedback circuit, okay, also provide a phase shift of 180 degrees. So this is exactly what I've explained, okay, and I think it should be clear to you. Remember this figure, okay, for RC phase shift oscillator, you should be able to do it, okay. Just remember that this particular feedback circuit that we're talking about will actually having a resistor and a capacitor connected, and based on this we will be having it, okay. So hence the feedback circuit should also provide a phase shift 180 degree to satisfy, okay. And maybe I can just write it down in short here, okay. I can just write it down to satisfy that the phase angle A beta is equal to 0. You can use this notation, okay, just an angle, and it actually represents your phase angle, okay. So this is basically what we call as the RC shift oscillator, or in general its construction, okay. So the point here is that how is this RC circuit working, okay? What is its working principle, okay, and how exactly we can know that what is the value of the gain factor here and what is the value of gain factor here, okay. Quite interestingly, if you consider an op-amp and look into the gain factor, the value of A that we get here will be 29. And you might be thinking all of a sudden, how can we say it's 29, okay? And if you want A into beta, okay, if you want A into beta is equal to 1, and if I say A is, A is 29, then the value of beta should be 1 by 29, okay? So this value of beta will come out to be 1 by 29, okay? So we are going to derive why it is 29 and why this is 1 divided by 29 in the next few classes, okay? But before that, let me just give you some more brief about the RC circuit, okay? You might have already known about RC circuit, but then anyway, let's try to understand it better, okay? So, you know, RC circuit, which you might have studied in your undergraduate classes also, is basically also called a high pass filter, okay? RC circuit, okay? And I'll just write it down as high pass filter. So basically also used as a filter system, okay? So what we can do is we can probably draw just the R and C part, okay, so that we try to understand it better. Okay, so let me just draw a capacitor here. Okay, let me have a capacitor here, okay, and then we can actually have the output across a resistor, right? So I can draw a resistor at this end, okay. And I can just join this out, okay. And some of the criteria or some of the parameters of this particular circuit is already to you, very basic, okay. So this is your capacitor, this is your resistor, okay. You have your input across this, so V in, and this is plus and this is minus. This is very simple, okay. Just be with me, try to understand it, and I think it should not be complicated, but it's long, okay. The topic is quite long, so you have to just keep your concentrations going on. So this is your V output, right? So we have both V input and V output, okay? And we can find out the information about the phase shift. No, we are mostly concerned about the phase shift here. Because if I say that the phase shift offered by this circuit should be 180 degree, the question is how is going to give that 180 degree phase shift, okay? So let's try to find out what is the phase shift value, okay? So if you use some simple tools, okay, of analysis of a circuit, we can actually find out what is V out divided by V input, okay. And if we take the ratio of the voltage drop across the output and the input, okay, output taken across R and the input, we basically have a capacitor, so there will be a voltage drop across the capacitor, so it will be nothing but R minus JXC, okay. So you know, if we're basically having a circuit which has got a capacitor or an inductor, it will actually offer reactance, okay, and not resistance, okay. So in general, we know that the reactance offered by the capacitor is 1 divided by omega c, right? And this is this xc that we're talking about. Okay, so what we can do is we can probably just try to simplify this further. We'll do this as r minus j divided by omega c. Okay, we have this, and then we can have it as 1 divided by, we're just going to omit this r, we can take r common, so it will be 1 divided by 1 minus, and then we'll keep the top, okay, divided by omega c r. Okay, so let it remain that way, right? So we have this now, okay, and we want to find out the phase shift, okay, and I'm not going to into the deep calculation here, but something which should be known to you, if you are having an equation between the input and output, okay, the phase shift, okay, let's say this is theta, will be actually given by tan inverse of this particular term. If you have got an output divided by input, okay, and if you're basically having a ratio of the values, okay, and you can take out a phase shift from this particular equation, okay. So we have got this as 0, okay, minus then inverse, okay, and then this is a minus there, 1 divided by omega cr. So this is the direct formula for finding out phase shift, okay. So I'd like you all to please remember this. This is the direct formula for finding out the phase shift, okay, and just do it. We can just take this as, this is 0 minus, so minus tan inverse, and there is a minus here, so it can come out, okay, tan inverse or minus of something, okay, it's the same, so it will basically just be tan inverse, okay, 1 divided by omega cr. Okay, so we have this, the phase shift, okay. So this is the angle what is happening at the input to the output, okay. So basically we are making that difference here. So this can be written as tan inverse of, and 1 by omega c is nothing but xc, so I'll just keep it as xc divided by r. Okay, so this is my phase shift that we have. Okay, now let's just try to analyze this a bit more. Okay, let's try to analyze this. How do we analyze this? It's simple. Okay, so if we basically have xc, okay, or maybe I can just take more space here. So what we do is we actually want to know under different conditions what are the things that might happen. So let's say I have to take it for this. So let's say for xc, and this reactance, if it is very small, so that means that the numerator here is very small. So that means this entire thing will be almost equal to 0, right? So if this is 0, inverse of 0 is actually 0, right? So that is the phase shift that we are talking about, phi is equal to 0. Okay. On the other hand, if we say for maybe for R is equal to 0 now, if the resistance is very less, this part, okay, if this resistor is very low, this is 0. So this is xc divided by 0, that means this is infinity, okay, and tan inverse of infinity is 90 degree, right? So if you remember this, okay, so let's not get confused here. This is infinity, right? So that means this is nothing but tan inverse of infinity, right? So that means if R is equal to 0, this phi is going to be 90 degree. So that means that this particular circuit that we have, the RC circuit, okay, it basically will provide, okay, phase shift from 0 degree to 90 degree. So this particular RC circuit is going to provide you a phase shift of 0 degree to 90 degree. Okay. The question is, I need 180 degree phase shift. So what we can do is we actually use two such RC circuit. Okay. Then actually have the final result is 180 degree, right? What we will do is we can actually just write down one simple note here. Okay. If we already know that the phase shift provided by one RC circuit will be 90 degree and it won't go beyond that. Okay. We can say is hence two such RC circuits. And this is actually theoretical. Okay, what happens is there's a loading effect. So even if I say it will provide exactly 90-degree phase difference, that might not happen. Okay, I'm just writing down a theoretical understanding of this. Okay, so there will be a loading effect. So there will be change. It will be close to 90-degree, but cannot be exactly 90-degree. Okay, so here two such RC circuits. Okay, can provide. Just give me a moment. Okay, yeah, I have some mic issue, I think. Okay, so it can actually provide 180 phase shift. Okay, 180-degree phase shift. Okay, but for that R has to be 0 theoretically. Okay, and if we make R is equal to 0 theoretically, okay, basically the gain will be 0. And we don't need that. Okay, there should be some gain. So that means I cannot put directly R to be 0. Okay, so that means I cannot use two circuits. So two circuits will provide that, but that is only up to a theoretical aspect. So what we can do now is we don't use two circuits. We actually use three. We can use three RC circuits, and we can actually vary. Okay, practically even 4 is better. If phase shift, the others will also provide 45-degree phase shift. Okay, so they are going to have different phase shifts. So if I just write down this point here, okay, which may be important. So what happens usually is that practically, if we just look into this, or what we can do is this: when R is equal to 0, okay, the gain is also equal to 0. Okay, and this is something we don't need. We need more gain. Okay, so what we can say is therefore, okay, practically not possible, okay, to achieve this 180-degree phase shift. Not possible to achieve this 180-degree phase shift, okay, by two RC circuits, by two RC circuits. So we cannot have 180-degree phase shift by using just two RC circuits. So what we can do is we can actually have a cascaded circuit, okay, and we can have more than two. Okay, so hence more than two circuits, or RC circuits, we can say, is used. Okay, so understand this. If I use two, I cannot have 180-degree because there will be a loading effect because of the first circuit on the second circuit. Okay, so if we use two circuits, okay, or more than two, let's say they are using three. Okay, if three RC circuits are used, okay, so what will happen is this: I'm going to draw a circuit also. Okay, we can actually have each stage gives 60-degree phase shift. 60-degree phase shift. Okay. I would suggest all of you to not miss the degree sign. Okay? I'm missing it because I cannot type it that fast. Okay. So that is 60-degree phase shift. Okay, and how exactly will the circuit look like now? Okay? This is where we are going to stop for now. Okay, but before that, I should actually draw this. So we actually have one capacitor here. Let's say we have got one capacitor here. Okay, then we can actually have one more capacitor here, and then one more capacitor here. Okay, and then we can have three resistors connected here. Let's draw this straight. Okay, so this is one circuit here. So this is one RC circuit, and of course this is the second RC circuit, right? And this is the third one. Okay, so what happens in general is, if we are basically considering this, we have got C here, we have got R here, we have got the same value of C here, R here, C here, R here. Okay, and what we can do now is we can actually divide them into maybe 3 seconds. Okay, this is one RC circuit. Okay, and I will just make this as stage 1. Okay, and this will actually provide me a phase shift of 60 degrees, right? And then we can actually have one more, and this is the final one. Okay, so this is stage 2. This is stage 3. 60 degree here, 60 degree here. So all three of them combined will basically give you a 180 degree phase shift. Okay, but you know, in order to control this system further, if basically considering a practical circuit, okay, practically we can just say practically we are coming out of this theoretical aspect now. Okay, practically RC oscillator, okay, uses 4 stages. Okay, just remember this. So RC oscillator basically use 4 stages.